The man charged with shooting and killing 2 people in a northeast Nebraska bowling alley faces a new charge connected to the crime. In Knox County Court on Tuesday, Kaylin Sweezy pleaded not guilty to a charge of being an accessory to a felony. Sweezy is also charged with felony tampering with evidence, which she pleaded not guilty to back in May. Sweezy is accused of helping her husband, Elias Reed, in the shooting death of 2 people in a Bloomfield bowling alley. Prosecutors say she attempted to interfere with authorities' duties in finding and arresting Reed and also provided false information to police. Sweezy will be back in court on September 24th, her trial set to start October 21st.